Plastik hält sich ewig. In unseren Weltmeeren haben sich bereits 150 Millionen Tonnen davon angesammelt. Der Wissenschaft ist das Problem bekannt, aber eine bezahlbare Lösung gibt es bis heute nicht. Obwohl das Plastik längst unsere Nahrungskette erreicht hat.
Für dieses Problem glaubt der 19-jährige Boyan Slat jetzt eine Lösung gefunden zu haben. Und er wird mir heute zeigen, wie er mit seinem selbstentwickelten Verfahren die Weltmeere von den Folgen unserer Wegwerfgesellschaft befreien will.
Vor 3 Jahren hat Boyan gemerkt, was 2 Jahrhunderte Industrialisierung uns für ein Problem vererbt haben. Deswegen hat er das Ocean Cleaner Projekt gestartet. Per Crowdfunding hat er Geld eingesammelt und schließlich seine Methode der Welt präsentiert. Inzwischen arbeitet er mit 100 Mitarbeitern an der Umsetzung seiner Vision. Ich habe ihn an der TU Delft in seinem Büro getroffen, mir seine Entwicklung im Ocean Cleanup Workshop zeigen lassen, im pazifischen Plastikmüll gewühlt und einen 19-Jährigen kennengelernt, der die Säuberung der Ozeane zu seinem persönlichen Vollzeitjob gemacht hat.
Yeah, over here we did quite a bit of the recycling research. The first time I heard about this problem was while actually seeing it with my own eyes, and I was diving in Greece, and I realized I came across more plastic bags than fish. But what surprised me even more was that nobody ever seriously investigated how to clean this up. Yeah, this is actually the first thing I ever built. So, wow, it really looks awful. So, 3 years ago in Greece, it was the first time I did some research in plastic pollution. So what we did back then was see if we could measure the amount of plastic we would catch, how much there is in the Mediterranean. It costs about 20 euros to build this, and we could measure the plastic, and really helped us understand the problem. And this really was sort of the first step before I came up with this idea on how to clean this up.
Das Plastik verteilt sich auf den Ozeanen in großflächigen Müllwirbeln. Deshalb hat Boyan eine 100 Kilometer lange Barriere entwickelt, die auf der Wasseroberfläche treibt. Darin soll sich das oben schwimmende Plastik verfangen, während Meereslebewesen unter der Sperre hindurchschwimmen. Am Ende treibt die Strömung das Plastik in die Mitte der verankerten Konstruktion, wo es von einem Förderturm eingesammelt wird.
I've been to one of the gyres myself as well, and it's not like there is an island of trash floating there in the middle of the oceans. It's quite dispersed. And that's really why these conventional ideas with the ships and the nets wouldn't be feasible, because the area is so large, it would take a tremendous amount of time, about 79,000 years, would cost many billions of dollars, and hence really the only way to collect this is by passively doing it and let the currents do the work themselves. The total cost of the actual execution is estimated to be 300 million euros. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's actually 33 times cheaper than conventional methods because you don't have all these operational expenses. So yeah, we were doing this test to measure the forces. And these things we used to create waves in a sort of a pool. And if you would do this commercially for like a week of testing, it would cost about 300,000 euros. We built it ourselves, and it was like 4,000 euros. We were able to do an incredibly amount of research with a very small amount of budget. So.
Cool, so people are like, okay, I understand this project, I understand the problem, here's my pool. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes, yeah.
Once there was a Stone Age, a Bronze Age, and now we are in the middle of the Plastic Age. And when talking about environmental issues in general, I think a common response is, well, that's a long way off, that's for our children to worry about. So hello. Here I am.
There was this TEDx conference, and for the first time I then presented the idea, and half a year later suddenly this video went viral and was being watched over 1 million times.
There was a lot of critique regarding the project and your idea. It wasn't new, it wouldn't work. How did you feel about that?
I mean, there have been many concepts in the past, all of them unfeasible. So obviously, if another one of those ocean cleanup concepts arises, the first response to that is, well, okay, it's just one of those silly ideas, it's never going to work. Yeah, I mean, you can choose to constantly try and defend yourself or actually try and work on a solution. I mean, I prefer to do the latter. Right now, with our team, out of 100 people, 70 of them were engineers and scientists. So they are the ones that have made sure that right now there is a lot of quality to it. Furthermore, we have asked external scientists to review the result. They all agreed to the general conclusion that it is indeed likely feasible and financially viable. In New York, we presented the results of this feasibility study that indeed confirmed we can clean up almost half the Pacific garbage patch in just 10 years' time. Now we're making preparations to start the second phase of the project, the pilot phase, in which through a series of upscale tests we'll work towards a large-scale and operational pilot in 3 to 4 years' time. And after that, we should really be ready for the third phase, which is the final phase, the actual implementation of the project. If it wasn't for the internet, this project wouldn't have been here. Without crowdfunding, we wouldn't have gotten the funds to start this. And without social media, we would never have found the people to do the research.
The Ocean Cleanup ist kein Projekt eines klassischen Forschungsinstituts. Mit den Methoden des Internetzeitalters schafft Boyan es, dass Freiwillige und Forscher aus der ganzen Welt ihm dabei helfen, sein Ziel zu erreichen.
It's very interesting working for Boyan. You can really respect the guy. It takes a lot of courage to step up and follow your convictions, and his vows to try to clean the plastic from the ocean. When he's here, he's focused, he's completely engaged in this project. He's always trying to get people to work on collaborating in different aspects, and I think that's a good sign of leadership.
I have known Boyan for a long time. I know him since he was 5 years old. I've been a friend of the family. I've been his babysitter when he was younger. He is a workaholic, but you know, he gets a lot of energy from it as well. And of course, he does something outside of his work, but it's really limited.
I had to pause both university and social life to really focus all my time on developing this project. It would be nice to one day have the time to finish my aerospace engineering study, but right now it definitely doesn't have the priority. I really don't have time to do it, and I'm afraid I do have plenty of other ideas as well, so we'll see if it happens. The last free day I had was, I think, the 3rd of February, so about half a year ago. You know, that's really part of the ocean cleanup, is that we don't really do free days. So, you know, don't breathe this. This was collected on the south point of the big island of Hawaii. You can see that it's much more fragile than the normal plastic. First we had to analyze the plastic, and then it turned out the quality was much better than expected. So then we first tried to turn it into oil, which worked. But afterwards we also tried to melt it into new products. That was no problem as well.
Anything you've built out of this so far?
Yes, so we thought there was really no better way to show you can make stuff out of this by making the cover of the feasibility study book out of ocean plastic.
Das Plastik aus den Weltmeeren zu holen, ist nur ein Teil der Lösung. Um mir zu zeigen, wie Plastikmassen wieder aufbereitet werden können, nimmt Boyan mich mit in die modernste Plastik-Recycling-Anlage der Niederlande im Hafen von Rotterdam.
We are at a recycling facility in the Rotterdam harbor where they separate different types of plastic from each other.
This is plastic everywhere. How much? 200 tons? Wow. How long would it take you to collect these 200 tons?
What we've calculated is that it would take about 8 days, so about 25 tons per day.
8 days of sucking in all this.
Right.
Yeah. And how much is in one gyre, like the North Pacific gyre? How much is in that?
About 150,000 tons. People don't realize how big this problem is. As long as plastic is being used for applications that are designed for a material that has to last for a very long time, then it's okay. But the problem is that right now, a third of the plastics is being used for something that after a couple of days or weeks is being turned into trash. Because that's really the problem with waste, that people do not realize that it has a value. We have been able to create problems on this scale thanks to technology. I don't see a reason why we could not combat such problems of this scale thanks to technology.
The Ocean Cleanup ist ein Langzeitprojekt. Aber wenn niemand etwas tut, wird das Plastik ewig in unseren Weltmeeren schwimmen. Erst in einigen Jahrzehnten werden wir aber sehen, ob Boyans Idee wirklich Erfolg hat oder ob wir bis dahin an den Folgen unserer Überflussgesellschaft erstickt sind.